Good morning, Britain. Getting round the table in a bid to end the winter of strikes. The government is set to sit down with several unions today in the hope of reaching new agreements.
Well, NHS bosses say the risk to patients will only intensify if more strikes go ahead. And could there be an end in sight to the rail strikes? Well, the government certainly thinks so, but the unions say don't get your hopes up.
Reports senior royals fear they'll end up in paperback if Prince Harry attends the King's coronation as the monarch prepares to make his first public appearance since the release of his son's tell-all autobiography.
He's one of boxing's most feared fighters and has knocked out 23 of his opponents. So how will Chris Eubank Jr. fare against our very own Ben Shephard? They'll be going head-to-head-ish later in the show. Ben looks confused.
Are they? Is Call the Midwife close to its end point? Say it's not so. Actress Laura Main, a.k.a. Nurse Sheila Turner, will be addressing those rumours and telling us why fans say she looks 20 years younger off screen.
And could the next James Bond be about to join us live in the studio? BAFTA-winning actor
That's
Michael
not him.
Ward.
There he is.
There he is. It's the thought of you going head-to-head with Chris Eubank.
Stop
and
it.
everything. But he's been tipped to take on the role of 007. We'll be asking him about that and his saucy scenes with Olivia Colman after 8 o'clock.
And warnings are in place for heavy rain across the southwest today, with strong winds for much of the country. All that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Thursday, 12th of January 2023, live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Ben Shephard and Kate Garraway.
So just as it might appear as though talking is breaking out between ministers and union leaders, and we'll come to that in a moment, something very different is taking place on Good Morning Britain. What are you thinking?
Well, I certainly wasn't thinking me and Chris Eubank Jr. were going head-to-head.
Well,
That's
apparently you are
news to
going
me.
head-to-head.
Chris has got a big fight coming up on the weekend, of course, so he's coming in to talk about that. It's always great to get his perspective. Last time he was in with Conor Benn before that bout was called off controversially, just a few days after they'd been on the show. So lots to talk about Chris about. So I was talking with our producer saying it's really interesting to understand how hard professional boxers punch.
Right.
You know, as you pointed out.
And I think that would be fascinating. Maybe some kind of electronic sensor where you could, where the professional could punch, and then there would be some kind of graph, chart, so that we could understand it. So did they run to organising that?
No.
OK.
I'm the censor.
You're the censor?
I'm the censor.
OK.
I'm not sure if you've ever seen... I mean, in that little footage with Chris, he was with his trainer and they were using mitts, so he was punching the hands.
Right.
But, of course, what the trainers also wear is they wear a protective belt around their waist so they can practice the body punches. So what the bosses here thought would be interesting to see was if I put the protective belt on, how much of Chris Eubank hitting me could I take?
How long have you worked at Beresford? It's about 23 years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of built-up tension in the boss class, isn't there? Boss class level.
There's the belt that I'm going to be with. There's fashioned by Darren here. So it goes around your waist and he's going to be able to unleash on me. Was this in your letter to Santa, by the way?
Yes. You know what? I wrote to Santa and said, you know, let's finally get some frustration at Shephard out, because you actually made me ill. You know, last week when you were coughing...
I've done more... What?
You did. He gave me the bug. Now, Ranvir, I know what you're going to say. There's a lot of people who've got the bug. Yes. I'm surrounded by people sniffling, coughing. Yes. It's unfair to just blame Ben Shephard.
But shall we anyway?
Let's.
Yes, OK, carry on.
It's all your fault.
I'm just the human punch bag, literally. In every sense of the word. But very much looking forward to seeing Chris and actually getting a sense of how hard he punches. I mean, he's got a big
Alex,
fight.
you're really looking forward to Ben getting punched.
I can't wait to see this. I just hope that we keep Dr. Hillary on standby, because I think we might need a doctor.
Yes, don't worry.
How are your kidneys?
I mean, brilliantly. they have actually got a doctor and a medic on standby. Not Dr. Hillary, because he's got a proper job. He is here now. He's here for something else. But there is officially medics ready to go.
Really?
Oh, Lord.
And is that because they don't want Chris Eubanks' hands damaged?
Yes!
Because he's worth a fortune. It's not for your tummy at all,
Not for
is
me
it?
and my kidneys. No, it's for Chris and his hands. Got to protect his hands.
Well, that'll be something to look forward to this morning. And then maybe, we're hoping, aren't we, some positivity in terms of the winter of strikes that we're all living through.
Perhaps they should put belts on and get some gloves and just duke it out.
Well, just go against each other.
Why not? See what
Union
happens.
leaders versus ministers. Well, in the meantime, well, that's on the back burner.
Yeah.
The union leaders and ministers are holding crunch talks aimed at ending the strikes. It's hard to imagine there'll be a meeting of minds, isn't there? Because already there's been attempts that haven't worked.
Yeah, the hope is they may get somewhere, though. The Health Secretary will meet with the doctors and dental unions today as health leaders warn future NHS strikes could increase the risk to patients, of course. Our political correspondent Louisa James is at Westminster for us this morning. Morning, Louisa. So, you know, we're questioning it. It's been a while. They've been talking over and over. How much optimism is that we could get some conclusion or some result today?